On this week's episode, we'll be chatting with author and business development manager of post-production house Cutting Edge Studios, Elle Croxford. You may not have heard the name, but chances are you've already seen their work.
Also on today's show, we'll be reviewing Hedwig and the Angry Inch, the 2001 cult film directed and starring John Cameron Mitchell. You're watching Showreel.
Welcome once again to Showreel. This week, joining me is Janah Chadwick.
And joining me is Nate Gothard. We're both also joined today by Elle Croxford. Elle is the business development manager of post-production house Cutting Edge, a Brisbane-based production house that has collaborated on films such as I, Frankenstein, The Great Gatsby, Happy Feet 2, Beneath Hill 60, and Wish You Were Here. We welcome you to Showreel, Elle.
Thank you.
All right, so firstly, Elle, can you give us a brief description of what your role is at Cutting Edge?
Well, as business development manager of long form, I look after bringing in work such as feature films, television, documentaries, and anything that fits in between those, but on the long form side. Whereas the other part of the business is more about the commercials, the corporates, the digital work. So it's more focused on what you would see on the big screen or on the television.
Wow. Now, we've actually got the showreel from Cutting Edge. Why don't we just take a look at that? Wow, that last shot was smooth.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It was just a great touch of Leo doing that. No, so that's a truly amazing showreel. Now, Cutting Edge is obviously just one of the most respected post-production houses in all of Australia. Now, after a bit of research, you actually worked in a video store in the late 80s, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you think that, looking back then, that you'd be contributing to these kinds of major films like Great Gatsby and Beneath Hill 60?
I think as a kid, I've always loved film, and I guess, you know, getting a part-time job, which then turned into a full-time job at a video store, was always part of not necessarily the plan, but the direction in which I wanted to head. So when I look back to those days, and from the video store I went into distribution, and then went into the film commission, and then went into more consulting work for post-production and visual effects houses. So when I look at my journey in film, it's always been about the audience. It's always been about creating something for somebody to be entertained, or for creating something for somebody to watch. So when I think back to the video store days, it was always about making recommendations and watching what people were after and what they were renting and what they liked and what made them laugh and what made them cry and all of those things. And I think that whole journey through the film industry that I've been involved with in all the different parts of the film industry. Now I come to Cutting Edge as business development. I can now use that experience, use that knowledge and knowledge of what an audience wants and bring that to our clients. So whether it's a feature film, whether it's television or, a short film, it's all about creating something for an audience to be entertained.
So it's a very strong personal investment.
Yeah, I think anybody who's in a creative industry, either as a job or an interest or a passion, it's all about creating something of worth, and whether that's to change somebody's perspective or to inform somebody or to entertain somebody. I think we all get into this industry to make a change, to create something special.
Is it a direction you felt that you were drawn towards?
I think everybody kind of has their outlet for creation. Some people write, some people sing, some people play music. Mine was just a love of all things around film. So for me to be able to collaborate with other people who are in a similar headspace is just fantastic. So I can go to work and not only have our clients come in who are creating these amazing concepts, but I can play my part in helping them. Film's such a collaborative effort that we can definitely every single day see what our work and what our advice and knowledge and experience can bring to somebody else's project and make it that much better. Post-production, visual effects, it's what makes, quite often, we're the last people to touch a film or a movie or a project before it leaves the facility, before it goes out to an audience. So the grade, how it's all brought together is such... We can see the effect of it. It's immediate, and we can help that film pop.
Cool. So it's not really just a job though, is it? Because you've got so much personal investment in it. It's you like it, so it's not really a job. It's just more of a passion.
Yeah, I would describe. I was talking to somebody this morning, and whilst I'm very much focused on my work, I don't see it as work. So it's about playing and creating and helping other people, and that's really important for me. If I can help somebody throughout the day, whether it's tweak that or put that idea forward or introduce them or connect them to somebody else who can help them get what they need, then the day's been a good day. If I can do that and help people, then it's I've had a good day. Yes.
Amazing.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back shortly, so don't go away.
All right, welcome back to Showreel. We're chatting with Elle Croxford from the Cutting Edge. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, so Elle, how hard do you think it is for a Brisbane-based production company to attract national or international attention and clients? And do you chase them? Or do they chase you, or is it a little bit of come see, come sa, a bit of both?
It's probably a bit of both. Cutting Edge has been around for 22 years now, so we do have an established reputation, particularly in Queensland. So Brisbane is our national office. Then we've got a small satellite facility down at the Village Roadshow Studios on the Gold Coast. Then we have a facility down in Sydney, and we just last October opened a new facility in Melbourne. So in terms of being national, we are definitely national now. So in each of our own sort of territories, if you like, we each have another me in each of the other states, and we work collectively together to make sure that no matter where because some films, depending on where they get their funding from, particularly on the Australian landscape, some may film, say, in Victoria. So Predestination, shot in Melbourne, looks fantastic, doubling for New York. And then they brought all of the post-production, all of the visual effects back to Queensland. So even though it was shot in Melbourne, it was posted in visual effects up here. So we made, through that whole visual effects process, made Melbourne look like New York. So we did set extensions, a lot of cleanup, added in certain things to make it look like New York. So Michael and Peter Spirik directed a fabulous film, and we just got to add to that, just those little parts that kind of, just make a film pop. So it premieres at the Melbourne International Film Festival later this month. So, when you have a film either approach you or we go chasing for film, because that's part of my role. I go to LA a few times a year to actually try and bring back work to Australia, and whether that's in the Melbourne, Sydney or Brisbane facility, to us it's all work. So it's about, looking at what films are around at the moment, what they need. So some films don't need any visual effects at all. Others might just need the most subtle clean-up. So it's sort of very low-end work. And then you've got the other extreme where you have a film like I, Frankenstein, where Cutting Edge actually did 116 shots and were very involved in the design effect of the flame and the spirits. So when you look at a film like that, that's very visual effects intensive. And we were one of 4 Australian vendors, visual effects vendors, who worked on that film. So when you look at all the different ways that we can be involved in a film, like Secrets and Lies, it was a television series that was filmed in Brisbane, posted and everything up here in Queensland. Then you've got a film like Chappelle, which was shot up here on the Gold Coast, and then this post was split between Queensland and Melbourne. So you've got a lot of different ways to have post-production be involved. And I guess because Cutting Edge has a number of facilities nationwide, we can split that up. Because quite often what happens, and has been a problem for Queensland in the past, was quite often the director would go back to wherever they came from, whether it was LA or Sydney or Melbourne. And so then, therefore, the editor and the post and the sound would follow them back, because it's cheaper to have them at home just doing the approvals and working with those people on the last final finish of the film. So by having facilities like Cutting Edge and other service providers in post-production, as we've built up our businesses over the years, that no longer has to happen. So the post can stay quite often where it shoots. But then the financial landscape has changed. So we've got films trying to figure out, okay, so I can get a bit of money from here to do the shoot, and maybe I can get a little bit of money from here to finish off the film and do post. So between the two, films are now quite often being split up and broken up, and different components are going where they need to have, the work done to best bang for buck as well. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, we do chase, and we also, because of our reputation, have a lot of projects come. But either way, we have to win the work, we have to put in competitive bids, and it's about what's best for the project.
Wow.
Cool.
Anyway, thanks, Elle. It's now time to kick off this week's movie review, and today it's the movie Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not... Ow! Hedwig!
Hedwig and the Angry Inch is a rock odyssey by John Cameron Mitchell and Stephen Trask that ultimately is best described as Hedwig's quest to find his other half. This is the story of Hansel, a boy growing up in communist East Berlin who longs for freedom and adores American pop culture. While sunbathing nude in a bomb crater, Hansel meets and ultimately falls in love with an American soldier and soon-to-be sugar daddy, Uther. Hoping to return to America with Uther, the pair decide to marry, with Hansel donning a wig and adopting his mother's identity of Hedwig. The only problem with their plan is that in communist East Berlin, a physical examination is required before any couple can marry, leaving Hedwig with only one option. As Uther says, to be free you have to give up a little part of yourself. Hedwig goes under the knife in an illegal backyard sex change operation that goes less than according to plan, explaining the title, The Angry Inch. Soon after moving to America, Uther dumps Hedwig for a younger man. Devastated, Hedwig turns to her love of crypto-homo post-punk neo-glam rock and starts a band calling it Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Despite the tragic and thought-provoking themes conveyed in this movie, Hedwig and the Angry Inch is a truly funny black comedy and musical mockumentary. Paying homage to numerous rock icons, the music evolves through the eras, reflecting the development and growth of the characters. All of the characters in this film are beautifully detailed, the story is original, and the music offers something to suit everyone, spanning styles and eras from the 50s to the modern day. A viewer could expect to laugh, cry, or even watch an animated song based on the philosophy of Plato in any given scene. Although it went straight to DVD, and has been hiding out in the art house section all these years, people are finally starting to notice this internationally ignored song stylist. Neil Patrick Harris is currently starring in the Broadway stage version and won a Tony Award for his portrayal of Hedwig. I cannot recommend this film highly enough. Make sure you see it soon. 5 stars out of 5.
We're going to take another short commercial break, but stay tuned for more Showreel. All right, welcome back to Showreel. So, Elle, can you tell us more about the other productions that Cutting Edge are involved in? There was mention of Gallipoli and Big Brother. What else is there?
Well, there's a number of things that are coming up, some of which I can talk about and some of which are still in the pipeline. So, we've got the Spark film, obviously, Yesterday's History, so those two pilots. We've got, and I'm going to ruin this totally, sorry, because I was just going to say the projects were Big Brother and Gallipoli, so I've probably messed all of that up, so I'm really sorry.
Oh dear.
That's perfectly fine. At least we now have an extended knowledge that you are in fact doing Gallipoli and Big Brother.
Yes. I'm not sure how you recover from that. But
No, anyway, we just keep moving on and just hope that we don't get cut off.
It's just me and my big mouth, really.
That's all right. You just got a little bit excited, that's all.
I did. Oh, well.
What can you do? Anyway, aside from other productions, I mean, you work for the Pacific Film and Television Commission, is that correct?
yes.
Yeah, and do you think the industry, in the time that you worked with them, do you think the industry has changed, albeit a lot, or just a little?
I think the industry has transitioned a lot, and that's been driven by finance, it's been driven by changes in technology, and it's been driven by government policy and change, but it's also been driven by international competition. So you've got, particularly for Queensland, you've got a film commission that has was quite separate to begin with and then merged into a larger entity where Brisbane International Film Festival came together, Film Queensland and the Pacific Film and Television, and then it became this big Pacific Film and Television Commission. And I was, able to be part of that major change in Queensland, and I was there just over 7 years. So my role in that, in the Film Commission at that time, was attracting and marketing productions to Queensland. So it was about promoting the studios, promoting cast and crew, promoting companies like Cutting Edge and other service providers, and most of all, it was about attracting productions to the state to make use of the film locations. So whether it was a rainforest up in Cairns or a beach down on the Gold Coast or an outback location in Winton, or some, sort of smaller location, we would find anything that was needed for that film location or film production in Queensland.
All right, it's time again where we screen local short films, and this week we have Easy Money, The Debt. Easy Money, The Debt is part one of a 5-part comedy series written by Adam Fowler, directed by Justin Leggett, and produced by Gold Coast filmmaker Ashley Munro. Let's check it out.
Okay, well, I guess I'll start. I'm Tomo, and this is Harry.
Hey.
Basically, we need $10,000 in 2 weeks, otherwise we're going to get castrated.
Well, I dare say we should go into a bit more detail, right?
Okay, well, I'm not sure whether it's just going to be the nuts, or they're going to chop off our dongs as well, or...
I meant more detail about the debt. Why don't you start right at the beginning?
Okay, well, I first met Harry when we were at university. He was studying pharmacology, and I liked drinking a little bit, and we started...
Really? You go from too little detail to the other end of the spectrum. But, why don't you start with Sunday morning? You see, it all started when we woke up to one hell of a mess.
Where am I? What the hell happened last night? I remember drinking, dancing, drugs, drag, and... Oh, yep. That's it. How about you?
I remember spewing, snorting, shuffling, and someone's keys.
And that's when we met Mary, the debt collector.
Good morning, perverts. I'm Mary the debt collector and I'm here to...
Do you really call yourself that?
No, I just thought it would speed things up.
Babe, I don't know what you think you're on about, but I'm not in the mood right now, so...
Listen up, you I represent a certain wronged party and I'm here to extract a damages fee.
What are you talking about? Oh!
You got 2 weeks to come up with 10 grand. And if you don't, I'll be back to rip these things right out of your scrotums. Understand? Now, just in case you were thinking of going to the cops, I was instructed to give you this. Don't think you want the police seeing what you guys got up to last night. Righto, I'll see you guys later.
Oh, what? I can barely see. Wait. Oh my god. Oh, they're so old.
Took these.
What are we doing there?
Is that...
But they're just kids.
Why would we do that?
Holy shit. Whose car were we driving when that happened?
We gotta find that 10 grand. So you see, we really need this money. And with my job as a lab assistant and him being on disability welfare for his knee...
Archery incident?
There's just no way that we can come up with that much money in time.
Well, not legitimately anyway. We could do it by dealing drugs, or maybe prostitution, or we could flat out rob a bank. Am I right? Am I right? I'm right.
So what do you think? Can we get a loan or what?
The bank security guards have pepper spray. Oh, got it! Burns, how the hell do you get maced twice in 2 days?
You know, if I had to guess, I would say it was probably your melon rapist comments that did it. We're totally screwed, aren't we? Maybe we should just skip town.
Dude, why do you have to give up before giving anything a chance? If we were Oz playing right now, you'd most definitely be the lion.
Oh, and I guess that makes you Glenda the Good Witch.
If anything, I'm that artist Oz. You gotta be more creative, more ambitious. I wasn't entirely joking before. We don't have to do things completely legit.
I suppose if we could filter your creative dodginess with my logical cautiousness, then...
Easy money.
Easy money.
Alright, so you can catch the entire series of Easy Money on YouTube by clicking on the discussion link on our YouTube channel.
Speaking of short films, we'd love to see yours and share your work here at Showreel. If you've got something to share with local filmmakers, submit your film via email at loveitlocal@31.com.au.
Alright, so that's a wrap from us here at Showreel. Thanks again for joining us today, Elle.
You're most welcome.
And be sure to check out our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube pages and the Showreel podcast on iTunes. So we'll see you all next week.